Hey everyone, welcome to Cupboard Creations. My name's Gareth and this is my little corner of the internet for playing with my food. You may notice, those of you who have watched some of my videos before, a slight difference. That's why I've been off for a little bit. We've moved house and we've got a house which needs a little bit more work than the old one, but I'm really up for doing it. But unfortunately it means I'm stuck in a much smaller kitchen for a bit, so hopefully you can bear with me. Hopefully it won't make any difference to the flavour of the food, that's still going to be good. So stick with me and help me out as much as you can. I'd love to hear if you think of better ways that I could kind of show things, as long as it doesn't involve just taking walls out, then I'm more than happy to listen, so that'd be great. But we're going to start today with something nice and easy, spaghetti alle vongole. So spaghetti with clams and parsley and garlic, beautiful Italian dish and really, really simple to make. All the stuff is available. So I've got clams here, which I just got from local supermarket, frozen. Of course, if you go down to your, fish market, that sort of thing, get fresh, perfect clams, it's going to taste even better. But I just want to show you it can still be made really, really nice from simple supermarket ingredients. So what we're going to have to do here first is kind of do our chopping, because I'm going to need the space to do the cooking. So garlic, I'm going to use a lot for this. So I'm using 4 good cloves of garlic because I really, really like a really kind of garlicky flavour to it. I think it really helps those clams. So there we go. That's the garlic all chopped. Now we're going to hit the parsley. So you want good handful of parsley. So one of these big bags, you're talking probably half of it. You want loads of it in there. So I'm just going to grab about half of that out. And then all I'm going to do is take any big stalks off, but I'm still going to use them. So we're just going to kind of strip it down a bit. And what we'll do is we'll cook those big stalks when we cook the garlic individually. And then we'll chuck in all of the leaves at the end. Just means it softens them down a bit, but you still get all of that flavour. And it seems a shame to waste them. So let's pop all of these out. So there we go. All nicely separated, got my little stalks there and my leaves. So now just chop them up nice and small. So there we go, that's my parsley now done. Pop that to one side, and the last thing we need to chop up here, chilli. Chilli is really good with this, but be careful. The first time I tried to make this with my wife, I went a little bit too hard on the chilli. She loved it, said the flavours were all good, but could have done without such a kind of painful start. So we're just going to use half a red chilli on this one. Again, it's really hard to tell you, exactly how much to use because every chilli is going to be different. You could have some nice kind of really mild ones, in which case use a whole one. I like to use dried chilli with this, just because I think you get like that flavour once we're cooking it in there. I just really like that kind of almost slightly smokiness to a dried chilli. So I'm just going to use half of one because these are quite vicious. But we want a decent bit. So what I love about Italian cooking, there's a lot more spice in there than you would think. And I really like my spice. So give that a quick chop up. And there we go. That's all my chopped ingredients done. Nice and easy. We can just pop that to the side. Now everything's ready to start putting it together. So very first thing I'm going to do is make my spaghetti. The great thing about this, especially with almost all Italian pastas, you add the pasta to the sauce. So you can make the spaghetti, have it done. You could start that before you even start the chopping. I just don't have the room right now. So stick on your pasta, looking for about 140 grams of dried spaghetti to serve 2 people. Should be perfect. Salted boiling water, and just bubble it until it's just done to your liking. None of this, oh, it's got to be this or it's got to be that. You've got to eat it, so make sure you like it. So I'm going to pop my pasta on, and I guess I will see you once that's done. Brilliant. Excellent. So my pasta's all done now. That's just going to sit there. It can cool for a little bit. It's not a problem. We're going to chuck it in with the sauce in a bit. But let's make that sauce. So very first thing we're going to want, olive oil. I'm going to use extra virgin olive oil here because it's a real part of that flavour of the sauce. So you want a good one. You want about 3 tablespoons in there. So a decent amount. And then you're going to chuck in those parsley stalks, the garlic and the chilli. And what that will do is we're just going to soften those down. So probably about 3 minutes, something like that. Not too long, just enough to get that garlic soft. Try and work out how your oven works. I'm still getting used to this one. Used to my gas. I liked my gas, but yeah, it feels like things are going away where gas might end up being a thing of the past, who knows. But if anyone out there has any tips on how to use on these convection things, because you'll have been doing it a lot longer than me, I welcome any tips. It would be fantastic. So there we go. So we're just going to keep giving that a little bit of a stir around. Just gently heat it through for about 3 minutes. Okay, so there we go. That's kind of nicely softened down. It's just not burning. We don't want to get that crunchy burnt garlic because that's pretty gross. So now we got the clams. Like I said, this is 400 grams of clams in shell. So not 400 grams out of the shell. That would be a lot of clams. But you want 400 grams. You can get them in a lot of freezer sections now, or if you can get them fresh from fishmonger, fantastic. They'll be even better. But we're just going to pop them in. So they've defrosted previously, so just going to pop them in there, stir them around a bit. And then lid goes on, and we're going to leave those again on a fairly low heat, same as you were doing the garlic on, for about 3 minutes again. That should be perfect. Every so often you just want to give it a little shake, help it all mix together. And what's going to happen is as those clams cook, they're going to release some of that juice, and that juice is what makes this so good. It kind of really flavours with the oil. It adds that saltiness. You very rarely ever need to add any salt to this. And then just keep it going there, and those will cook pretty damn quick. Okay, so after 3 minutes, white wine. You don't need a lot, so just a small glass, 125 ml or so. I'm just going to splash that in there. Again, pop our top on, give it a bit of a shake around, and then give it another 2 minutes just to get that up to temperature. And that's going to burn off some of that alcohol, or all of that alcohol, but also you won't bubble it down too much. That wine with the clam juice and the olive oil is just going to make that gorgeous sauce. So leave that there for another 2 minutes and we're almost done. Oh, that's lovely. You just get that steam and that smell of the wine. It's really, really gorgeous. So that's kind of our sauce done basically. So all we need to do now is get our spaghetti in there, and then what will happen is the starches and stuff from that spaghetti will kind of thicken that sauce. So it's all part of the same thing. You know, every little part of it adds that bit of flavour. And for something that's so quick, it's so incredibly good to eat. So when you're knocking it around, don't worry about the clams falling out of the shells as well. A few people will be quite happy with that. But it does look good with the shells in. So there we go. That is picking up all of that garlic, all of that parsley, a little bit of chilli. Lovely. All that's left to do now is scatter on all of the rest of that parsley. And you want loads of it in here. You'll see why it just adds such an incredible colour and flavour. And then give that a last stir around. And there we go. That's fantastic. We can turn that off now. And you'll know when it's time to turn it off because all of that kind of liquid at the bottom will have just stuck to your spaghetti. That's gorgeous. So all it is now, plate up and eat. This is one of those where you want to get it straight out of the pan and essentially straight into your mouth. So there we go. That's my spaghetti alla vongole. I love this one. Really, really quick and easy to do. once you get used to it, about 15 minutes, you can have this whole thing knocked out. So I hope you give this one a go. I hope you enjoy it. And I'll catch you next time. Cheers.